What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. That was a 50% banger today. If you traded it on this channel, some of you are new. I don't come down on anybody for trading. You make money, you take that money. I am happy for you. I don't care how much I lose in a day. If you guys come back in the comments and tell me that you made money, awesome. I am so excited. The other thing you don't know about is this is actually a Scotch and Bourbon review channel. And you know, we just talk about stocks because Scotch and Bourbon can get a little bit expensive to support the hobby. Lefroy Triple Wood smells like a campfire. Got that strong smoke with a little bit of peat involved in it. Very nice. If your friends are Scotch drinkers, they would appreciate you having that on hand if and when they stop by. And hey, if you make your trades in the morning, then you can start early. So win-win. So anyway, let's look at what we're working with on TRKA. As far as what we have, we got a nice we had a nice day. I mean, there was plenty of opportunities to make your money if you wanted to make your money, and if you wanted to ride it back down, we are back down at the trend line. So it cost them a lot of money, in my opinion. Half of this is probably profit takers, if not a little bit more, right? We got the day traders in with us. We got the swing traders in with us. We have big institutions. We have nothing goes up, nothing goes straight down in a straight line. It's all about the give and take. That's why we encourage trading. If you can make a little bit of money, look for your next entry spot. Make a little bit of money, look for your next entry spot. It is what it is, however your trading style is. So back down at the safety net trend line. Fine. You know, if that's going to hold, that's great. We'll see. Long extended period bull flag that kind of came in here for us on the last hour or so, unfortunately, but you guys know from the channel which way those like to typically break, and that would be to the upside after about 3 tests. I would say we got, let's see, let's tighten this up just a little bit because we're doing it on the fly. So statistics, right? It's just statistics. 1, 2, we'll look for the bounce down here. Maybe it'll come in at the fib, maybe it'll come in at the trend line, get our 3rd test, and then hopefully break our way to the upside. Again, with stocks on this page, I typically follow them for just a little bit longer, just so that, you know, as long as I'm seeing action, I'm seeing positive movement, and I'm not seeing anything detrimental, we're going to keep talking about it to the upside. But in the meantime, I often encourage trading. I often encourage taking risk off the table if you're in a position to be able to do so. And, you know, play with the house's money. Playing with the house's money is key. That's one of the easiest ways to relieve any stress in your trade, no matter what you're doing, right? You don't care if it goes up or down, because whatever's there on the house's money is going to be your profit at the end of the day. And you set your stop loss and you're like, hey, if it trips out, fine. I made a couple hundred, I made a couple thousand, yada, yada. And if it doesn't trip out, then you're like, hey, I'm still in the trade and things are still probably going pretty decent for me as far as everything is concerned. So keep that in mind as we go through this, because like I said, the dust has not quite settled yet. I have not seen any updates as far as what's going on as far as the actual float goes, and we will keep that in mind as we go through this. But as long as the trend line's holding, you guys can draw it up, right? You just need a few taps and you can zoom out. You can find where those taps are. They start way, way, way back in the day. So zoom out, set up your taps, draw up this trend line. This is trend line number 1. Fibonacci retracement. Just snap your lines. I don't care if you go up or down. The numbers are going to come out the same. Go to the high around 99 cents. Go to the low around 9 cents and 9.5 cents. Snap them out. You'll have these lines. These lines are pretty much crucial. Keep an eye on your RSI. See how everything's moving with the RSI as far as that goes. Let's look at it on a bigger picture, because sometimes we do need to zoom out We can't zoom out too far because the hype that came into this thing was just absolutely astonishing. The daily, I wouldn't go back to the daily. If we look at it on a 30-minute, it's still kind of finding its resistance. Not gonna lie, it could be still finding those key levels of resistance. So what does that tell us? That tells us that we need to be watching for some sort of breakout on a longer time frame to get back above that 35 cents. Now, in my eyes, if the float did change and with the earnings, if everything just kind of morphs over to the undervalued state that it is, for some reason, I feel 35 to 38 cents would be maybe our comfortable range, and then we'll see if the shorts attack or if the longs step in and want to push it. But that's just saying that it is equal to the undervalued state that it was currently at. Sometimes we should take a 10 times evaluation of that, which would take us into the $3 range. So I don't know if it'll get there. I'm kind of, me personally, I'm not too much at risk until, like I said, we fall below that 236. I could have been out green today. If you follow me on Twitter, I post a lot of things on Twitter. It's easier than making videos. Follow me on Twitter. Find me. I think it's UT_vids on Twitter. And I'm there. I post trades. I post a lot of updates, and I post profits. I post losses. I'm more of an options trader, honestly. Like 80% of my trades are options. I prefer options. 10 to 20% of my trades are in stocks, and I talk about stocks that you guys are interested in. And I usually play anything that I'm talking about, because why would you want to come back and watch my videos if I have no skin in the game, right? So I put a little bit of skin in the game if I'm talking about the stocks, and I tell you kind of what I'm doing. It doesn't mean that you guys copy me. I'm not a perfect trader. I sometimes exit early. I sometimes exit late. Do not copy me. What I do is my own trade. What you guys do is your own trade. I give you the levels. Sometimes you guys have more confidence than me. Sometimes you have less confidence than me. It's just the way that it works out. So if we can hold, right, still the 236, that's my line in the sand within a couple of cents, 30.5 cents. As long as we're above there, I'm okay with my position. What I want to see is if we can really capture this safety net trend line, if we can break out of this nasty falling, it could be it could be a bull flag. In all honesty, it's just really, really steep, and it's really, really ugly, and it's going to be that way, I think, until the confidence comes back into the play. All of the yada yadas outside of the play come, into a harmonious decision. So let's keep an eye on that. But as of right now, I think the shorts, I think that cost them a lot of money just to bring it back down to almost where we started today. Like I said, some of it was profit taking, some of it was shorts. So it's not all shorts, it's not all nefarious. It is day traders. You're in here with everybody. So, if everybody else is making money around you, sometimes you think, maybe I should be making money with everybody else, right? Just because you exit a trade doesn't mean you don't like it. You can always get back into a trade, and sometimes you exit a trade because it doesn't make sense to you. So create your thesis. I create my own thesis. I talk about my thesis here online, and you guys, you're either on board or you're not on board, and it doesn't matter either way. Whether you agree with me or not, I create my thesis and I talk about it. I share it with you guys, and we just go from there. If you're on board, awesome. If you like what I'm saying, awesome. If you don't like what I'm saying, that's fine as well. Just protect yourself to the downside in those instances if you're in, or if you're not even in the play. Sometimes you come here as well. So we have everybody and anybody. It's the World Wide Web, and we do what we can with the information that we have. So let's bring it down to a shorter time frame. Let's see what we're doing right now. Kind of falling, broadening, which is okay. I want to see eventually this pop up, break out, and snap out of this bull flag that we are in. When will it happen? I don't know. Does it have to happen? It doesn't. That's why we talk about the downside. So keep an eye on it and then play your targets to the upside again. 43.61, so about 43.5 cents. Sometimes you can exit early, beat the mass rushes that are going to be out if you're happy with that number. Some of you do that. That's a very smart plan, because algorithms and everybody else are looking at these numbers, and you're like, hey man, I'm just gonna exit, and I'm gonna take my money, and I don't even have to worry about it. Let's see if we can get back over the 50. 54 cents is where I want to see, and then back into this golden pocket of 64.5 cents. I don't know, as long as the attention's here, I think it's possible. The volume was slowly coming off towards the end of the day. There's been a lot of volume that has been traded in this ticker, and at some point volume exhaustion is a thing, so keep that in mind as well. At some point we will see the volume die off. We will see volume exhaustion. We will see a little bit of a stagnant period where either it's going to go into consolidation / deeper consolidation, which is not going to be pretty for the accounts, or they're going to be like, okay, this thing's worth yada yada, and they're going to take it to that level. Like I say, retail is really just along for the ride. We're trying to figure out what big money wants to do. Retail doesn't move the stock in the way a lot of people think. In some of the very, very small floats, some of your whales can absolutely move the stock if they are playing how would I say it, incrementally to the upside, and they are accumulating a very large amount. They can move the stock. But as far as what we're doing, most of your guys' trades are going off exchange, to be honest. You can look at the off exchange interest that goes into the markets and what goes off the markets, and really we know this. We've learned this throughout the past 2-3 years, and it is what it is. So we're trying to ride along with big money. What does big money want to do? Does big money want to push? Does big money want to lend out their shares and let them short it to death and collect the interest? I don't know. That's what we have to figure out. The higher the interest rate, the more desire I think big money has to lend out their shares. But if they're like, hey, I think you're wrong, we're looking at some pretty record-breaking earnings, and I think the stock should be considerably higher, and I think it's worth being listed, then they start taking some of those back off the shelf, and they start pushing it just a little bit, right? So that's kind of the situation, the scenario that we're in at this very moment. Which way is big money going to take it? That's why we're watching this line down here at 30.5 cents so closely. Are they going to lend them out and let them drive it down and just continue to collect money as they anticipate whoever knows whatever goes on after, what the report say, April 15th? Plenty of time. I mean, if they want to drive it up, they can drive it up. If they want to roll the dice and continue to accumulate, they can do that as well. So let's watch and see how they play it out. As far as the ortex goes, at the close of today, 61.03% live short interest of the free float, and that's clocking in at 18.22 million. So it's looking like they could have returned some today, which might have been a little bit of the rise. And then we'll see. Tomorrow maybe they ended up bringing a little bit more in towards the end of the day to drive it back down. We'll see if they're playing the up and down game. I do think we're going to have some failed to delivers with all of the attention that has been going on in TRKA, which is crazy for a stock that doesn't have options. It should not have any FTDs, in my opinion. but we'll keep an eye on it. I'm not going to be able to give you an update for the market as far as tomorrow goes, so keep this in mind as far as forward thinking. The levels you're watching: 30.5, 43.5, 54, 64.5. And then from there, I think things get really interesting. I think the shorts are going to have to make a decision, because they're going to be like, okay, this is like the second time that we've been up here. This is the second time we've seen this number, and it's creating a little bit of stress on us. So are we going to want to continue to stay in here, or are we going to want to get out? I don't think that number comes into play until around the 65-cent range. I think they could get very aggressive up there, but at the same time, I think they could also be very profitable still in the overall picture, in the grand scheme of things, and maybe they would try one last hit. So that's where we are. That's what I got for you. I hope you guys had a good day in the markets. I hope you guys made money. I will catch you in the next one. As always, stay golden, people, and may your accounts stay green.